What's going on, everybody? Another episode of the Best Words Podcast. Hope you enjoy this version of the review of the Suicide Squad.
Today we're talking about Suicide Squad.
Yep. Lots of spoilers. Sensing not a lot of good vibes in the area right now.
What'd you think? What'd you guys think?
Spoiler Side Squad.
Well,
Suicide Squad.
I definitely liked seeing Bruce Wayne's parents get murdered. No, that didn't happen. For once, they didn't.
they
decide
missed
to...
a great opportunity to start that movie with the death of Batman's parents.
Because if you didn't know yet, here's your opportunity.
Is that what happened to Batman? Is that why he's the way he is?
No, I
Because he
think
has to
that
keep
he was
reliving
actually a radioactive bat, and then he turned into a person.
And then his parents died.
And then his parents died, and he was like, I really need to fight crime now.
We all saw Suicide Squad. Sam actually today saw it. Me and
Yes.
Brian, a couple days
We
ago?
saw it opening weekend, Sunday.
Sunday? Yeah, Sunday.
yeah,
So
a few
it's
days
been
ago.
a couple days. We've had time to, mull it over.
It's been a hot minute, as they
Yeah.
say these days.
Yeah, Sam is fresh out the oven with his feelings. So, same as always, we'll start with
Good, bad, and then...
yeah. We'll start with the good.
Bad.
So I want to preface, I really did not like this movie, and don't let my opinion ruin your interpretation of it.
Yeah, because we're just three people talking about how we
Yeah.
feel about it.
I
Doesn't
don't-
necessarily mean
I don't want to hate DC, and I had a lot riding on this movie, and
a lot of people did.
I'm
I've been
frustrated.
wanting to hate DC since the day they started. Like it's ever since they opened up shop. I've just
Yeah.
been like, I hate
No,
these
man, we
guys.
got to come together as a comic book loving community.
No, it's
Marvel,
okay.
DC, Image,
Yeah,
doesn't matter.
I'd be okay
I want-
with it if everyone was on Marvel's level. If everyone could just get to that level, I'd be fine with it.
We need to sit down and talk about the differences between how Marvel's handling it and DC's handling
Yeah,
it.
no,
so there's a whole conversation.
Yeah,
Well, the
definitely.
difference is
No.
Hey,
we'll
hey,
talk
hey,
about it later.
no,
We'll talk
shut
about it
your
later.
face. That's,
I'm
Right
just,
now,
like,
Suicide Squad.
I can boil this down to you
No.
in like a minute.
no, how dare you.
So,
But starting off good, I will not say that it is the best movie. Like I always preface it with that. I had fun watching it. The characters that it devoted time to, like the good parts. I mean, Will Smith, I think, did a good job as Deadshot. It wasn't. I mean, they focused more on him, but it was okay. Like it wasn't overbearing, and he wasn't that lone kind of like savior of everyone kind of thing. I don't know. It was Will Smith doing Will Smith things, and that's never a
Yeah.
bad thing in my opinion.
Yeah, that was my big positive was
Yeah.
the fact that it was Will Smith doing an action movie again. I've missed Will Smith doing
iRobot.
action movies. iRobot wasn't that bad. It was better than After Earth.
Wild Wild West,
No, stop it.
Bad Boys.
I like Bad Boys.
So, I really like Amanda Waller,
who's Amanda
The
Waller?
lady.
the lady that
The lady in
brings the
charge.
squad together.
Despite
Viola,
the fact
Viola
that she
Davis, right? I think she did a pretty good representation of the comic book character Amanda Waller.
Okay.
Yeah,
Like-
but
I enjoyed her,
I liked her through most of the movies.
Yeah.
I really like the fact that she is not a good person.
Yeah, no,
like
she's terrible.
like she's probably the
Manipulative,
worst villain out of
evil.
the entire group, I would say.
Yeah, the fact that she can control all of the air quotes. I can't see that. The fact that she can control all of these people that either have powers or skills that she doesn't shows how
Well,
much of a grasp she has. Right, she's very
I-
manipulative in those ways.
yes, and I think it surprised me when she was leaving the tower, and she like shot her underlings.
Yeah,
Like I was not expecting that.
yeah, she was
And,
just like, take them down, whatever.
yeah.
like,
I like that she was
Deadshot
the
didn't
villain.
do it, so she was like, fine, I don't need you, whatever.
Yeah,
Rocket.
yeah.
Go.
I will agree with that.
Rocket
I will
wasn't
agree
in the
with that.
movie.
There was a raccoon somewhere.
I don't remember that.
Bradley Cooper. No, I like her interpretation of the character. I think it was, they had to change certain things. I mean, I even liked Harley's character for the most part. Margot Robbie?
Mhm.
Margot Robbie?
Margot Robbie.
Margot Robbie. There were a few parts that I was like, eh. And I get she wasn't as cartoony as the animated series, right?
Yeah.
But I don't think that would have translated really well to the screen if she was that off the wall, kind of
That
crazy.
the original outfit did not translate very well to
No,
live
not at all.
action.
I know people were pissed. Like,
Yeah.
oh, why don't I appreciate the homage.
Yeah,
they
well,
did
the
with-
one shot.
Yeah, where
I-
like but even that, I was like,
Yeah.
don't wear that.
Yeah,
Like, please don't.
I agree. I was one of those people that's like, why didn't they just go with that? But
And then they're like, here's what you wanted, and you're like, oh, that's why.
Yeah.
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 No, for the most part, I liked her character. She was just kind of crazy enough to be like, man, yeah, that's what I imagine Harley being. Like I said, there were a couple parts that I didn't feel, hit the right notes, but for the most part, I was happy with it.
A lot of the special effects they did with the Enchantress, I really liked.
Yeah.
Oh, and all the prosthetics were really good.
Yeah.
Like, I liked how they did Killer Croc. You can
From a
hate,
technical standpoint,
from
it
a
looks
skill level,
really
yes.
looks
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good. And
I
I,
like
wonder
the
how
way
they kept.
Dude was in like makeup for like 8 hours.
I was
think,
gonna
something
say,
stupid.
yeah,
It was
because
ridiculous.
they have to. I'm sure they have to paint. Like,
Yeah, it was-
parts of it around his face.
It was prosthetics from the shoulders up and then body down, like chest down was paint. So
Yeah, okay.
I looked that up because I was really impressed with what they did. Like, I'm glad they stuck to some prosthetics.
I liked the little cameos we got of Flash and Batman.
Yes,
Flash more so than Batman.
I'm
for
not
me.
sold on Flash. I like the character that is Barry Allen.
From the show.
Well, no, I mean I like the show Flash with Barry Allen, but the guy they have playing Barry Allen and Ezra Miller.
Miller or something
Right.
like that.
I'm fine with him as Barry Allen. I'm not super sold on what they've done with the Flash, like his costume or
We really haven't seen
he's
much
throwing
of
lightning
it.
everywhere. I don't understand. Like, it's excessive.
Yeah,
like, I
I
understand like he emits lightning because it's the Speed Force, but it's really excessive in all the shots they've done. So I don't know.
As I was saying
Off
though,
topic.
lightning was kind of a symbolism thing that they did with the Flash for years.
Yeah, but
so I'm not surprised.
It looks
that
like
they did
he's
it.
freaking
Really, I'm
Electro.
just-
Raiden
Electro.
from Mortal Kombat. Like, when he took down Captain Boomerang, all you see is like this big lightning flare, and I'm like, I don't understand. Captain Boomerang was fun. I like El Diablo personally. I like his. They were pretty true to his origin from the comic,
Oh yeah.
and
It was really awesome and turned into like the demon
when he turned to like
thing.
El
I was
Diablo
like,
kind
oh
of
my
thing.
god, this is so cool. Like, that was cool. That
Yeah, no,
was
definitely.
really cool.
No, definitely. Rick Flag was kind of just there.
Yep.
He has some okay moments. We miss any other like the main heroes squad?
They were heroes. Don't lie.
Katana was there.
She was very underutilized.
Yeah.
Very underutilized.
Well, I'll stay away from the
it's like,
the
hey,
gist
we
there.
have this character that's really cool and has the ability to seal people's souls away in
I-
a sword
But
I-
she doesn't do anything.
I appreciate
and you don't
that-
see her half the time.
I appreciate that they got straight to
and
the point.
Godzilla arms.
I mean, say what you will about the plot, and say what you will about like they got to the point pretty quick. Like, instead of Batman Superman, where it was like all this just build up, they were like, here it is, here's your thing, here's what you wanted, and they kind of gave it to us relatively quickly.
I did actually. Surprisingly, I do like the parts where you see them in the everyday life of being in prison. Like, that was kind of interesting to
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, the part at the beginning was interesting.
Yeah, like that. I was like, I haven't seen that.
Yeah,
That's
no,
cool.
definitely. One scene really sticks out to me. I really like the scene with where Deadshot's on the cop car,
Mhm.
taking out all the
That was-
the zombies like just by himself, and all the soldiers kind of take a step back. Like, I don't know, that
That's-
scene feels very.
That's one of
I
the,
enjoyed it.
That's one of the few times in that movie where I actually felt something and was like excited and
Yeah.
was like, "Wow, that's cool."
Because
Like,
it shows it does a good job comparing, like, this is a person outside of a normal person's league, kind of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they're showing the regular people struggling. He flips a switch and he's just,
on par.
he's on par. And I really like that scene was really complemented well with his target practice when Rick Flag took him out, because he gets enjoyment out of it,
Yeah.
right? Like, he enjoys what he does, like, not necessarily killing, but just like being the guy who never misses,
Yeah.
being Deadshot, like just showing off his talents. So I like that part.
And it was kind of impressive to me that he would shoot and it wouldn't just be like it's kind of like the Robin Hood sort of thing where he hits the same
Yeah.
shot every time,
Time,
not
yeah.
just like around that
yeah.
area.
No,
I
it
was
was
impressed with that.
I like that. They portrayed Deadshot pretty well. I mean, his background is pretty standard all the way through. He does everything he does for his daughter to try to better her life. And again, nothing new, but it wasn't terribly done or anything.
I liked the cameos, and I appreciated seeing Will Smith again doing something Will Smithy.
Smiths.
You don't like all of his like Hitch and
I'm not a big fan of his drama.
7
Like
Pounds
his
and
drama films are fine and all, but
but
I'm not like I don't really watch a lot of drama movies,
Gotcha.
so I don't really want to see him in that role. That's not what I know him for.
fair enough.
But a lot of it was like I liked Leto as Joker, but I felt like it was.
I wanted more.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like he was more too restrained.
That's going to come in the bad as to why he didn't get more. They filmed a lot of scenes
Yeah,
with him.
they did. I heard that.
I mean, that's the big problem is,
yeah, a lot
as
of-
evidenced by the fact that we just saw it on Sunday, we've already kind of forgotten a lot of it.
Yeah.
It's very forgettable.
Um,
It's not the movie that everyone expected it to be, where it was going to put DC back on the map.
yeah, it didn't do that. So
And
now-
that's the frustrating thing.
that's
with that
that's a
movie.
segue into the bad.
Well,
Sam's
sorry.
about to like lose it over here.
So, my first big problem is the fact that I feel like the movie was trying way too hard to be Guardians of the Galaxy.
Really?
Yeah.
It did have that kind of
Like,
feel
it felt
to
like
it.
they were trying to have that same play off of the characters, and they had the whole pop culture thing. Like, the soundtrack really bothered me, because there was just too much pop culture music all over the
It bothered me in the fact that they didn't play toward its strengths and they didn't play toward the character's strengths.
Yeah.
So what I learned was that a lot of the soundtrack was done post.
Not
So
sense.
in some scenes, and I kind of noticed it too, in some scenes, especially in when they're in the building, the music is done after the fact, so it doesn't match up quite well.
Yeah.
Like when you expect like a crescendo or like a certain hit
It
to
just
match up on screen,
falls.
it doesn't pair up really well, and
Yeah.
that was, again, they made a lot of decisions after the fact that some would view as beneficial, because I mean, right, it got us more interested the more they kind of distanced themselves from the dark, gritty movie that they were.
I think if it had been dark and gritty, I would have liked it more.
If it had been no. If it had been dark and gritty,
It should have been dark humor, is
yes,
what it should have
that-
been.
Thank you. That's what I'm trying to get to.
Because they were trying to. They made it
They're
too
villains.
lighthearted.
They are villains.
Which is another big complaint that I
the
have.
biggest problem with this movie for me is that they are not villains. They are redeemed villains. And
Gotcha.
They're not even villains. They're just redeemed bad guys.
Yeah.
They're not the villains that I would expect to see. Like, the whole Deadshot thing with his daughter, like, yeah, okay, make him
Yeah.
more human, but, like, I want to see bad guys do bad guy things.
No, yeah, fair enough.
And you don't really see a lot of that. Most of the only way that you really know that these people are bad guys is because they keep saying that they're bad guys.
Or that they were in prison.
I mean,
Yeah,
but
that's
they're,
it.
they're not doing bad things.
Gotcha.
Will Smith doesn't seem
Yeah,
like a bad
that,
guy to
That
me.
didn't. So that definitely didn't
Yeah, Will Smith,
translate
like
well.
Deadshot, at no point in that film comes across as being a bad guy. He's just a guy that does a job. That job happens to be
He-
murdering people.
Which
but-
is a bad thing.
Well, yeah, but it's like he's not portrayed as being a bad person because he kills people.
And
He's just
Yeah, that- so-
he's just there.
So that definitely didn't translate from the comic very well. In the comics, they do a good job of like pointing out that these people are murderers, killers, that they're only in it for,
themselves.
Yeah,
But a lot of that is also because in the comics, these characters have been built up over the years. You know who these characters are. They have done bad
See,
things.
I
I see.
haven't-
No, because I picked up Suicide Squad, and I didn't know outside of Deadshot and depending on which iteration.
Croc.
Yeah, well, depending on which iteration, Harley's
Croc
not
eats
in
people.
there. Yeah, like Killer Croc. Slipknot is like from the 70s or something, and
Croc was like the only character that came across as a bad guy, and that's
Yeah.
because they showed him eat a person.
Yeah.
Well-
he
And also, I'm still upset because he was horribly underutilized in that entire film, and he had that stupid lobster crawl.
yeah, he crawled down.
that
this-
was so bad. Like,
Someone made a decision to do that. Someone was like, you know what?
Don't have him
you
dive
do
in the
this.
water.
Yeah, which
We
would
want him
look
to
cool.
drop on all fours and do a waddle.
Yep.
okay, so the whole, like, part of the whole, like, making them human, I can understand, but I guess what also bothers me is the Enchantress, when she was, like, showing the three main characters, like, what they really want. It's the same thing that you see all the time, and, like, is normal, is like, oh, I have a family with kids, and, like, this person that loves me, and nothing demented, like, you would expect Harley
You
Quinn and
want some-
Joker to like have some sort of demented
Why not
fantasy.
have more crazy
Or-
montages of them running off robbing banks and stuff?
Yes,
So
something
they
like
wanted,
that.
So someone did bring up, I was reading about, they really wanted to see this scene from, I don't remember which comic book it was. It was obviously it was Harley Quinn and Joker, where they're both still in their outfits, right? So Joker's still got the purple and the
Yeah.
face paint. Harley's still got the OG
Yeah.
outfit, but and it's like, you know, fireplace. So you're like, oh, it's a fan, like a, you know, she still wants to be with the Joker and have a family. But like on the wall is Batman's decapitated head. Like,
Exactly.
So it has that hint of like
Normalcy, but twisted.
yeah. So I get what you're saying.
That's the
I
problem
get
with
what
this
you're
entire
There wasn't really
movie
anything
to me.
demented about any of these characters.
No. Like
And,
Croc,
like,
Croc
that's-
is the closest thing.
Yeah, and I mean it's fine with Croc. Croc's supposed to be just be an animal. Like he acts off of animalistic instinct, which is fine. But characters like Harley Quinn, who have been built up over the years as having some kind of screw loose, and then she's just like, oh, you know, I just want to be normal.
yeah.
Yeah.
The
Yeah,
fuck?
no, I get it. Like I said, there were parts about her, and that was one of them that I was just kind of like,
Rick Flag was really, really fucking boring.
Yeah,
He's
super boring.
just generic Soap
And-
McTavish Modern Warfare guy.
And maybe it was
Cod
me.
Wops.
Maybe
Cod
it was me, but I was starting to mix up some of the guy characters. I was like, wait, wasn't the guy who's next to Joker? Wasn't he in the army place? Like in
Gotcha.
the like. Maybe it's just
Fun
me.
fact,
I understand.
They actually just had the same guy playing everyone.
So yeah, so some of the editing was weird, and again, that has a lot to do post where they wanted to change kind of the tone and kind of how the movie flowed. Some of people's biggest complaints are when Captain Boomerang like disappeared, like he was just like, I'm out, peace, at the bar scene, remember?
Yeah.
Yes.
And then like out of nowhere, he's like, oh yeah, I'm back.
yeah.
Like, that was kind of weird.
The what's her face disappeared. The girl with the sword. I can't remember.
Katana, yeah, she was like
She
she
disappeared.
popped in and out of like multiple fight scenes where she was
And
there and then wasn't
Not
there, and
there.
then wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah.
Man, one of the things I didn't like about it, which I've said I liked this on every movie we've talked about like previously. I did not like the sound design for the fights. Like
Yeah.
the punches didn't like feel like they had weight to
No.
them.
No.
Like bullets kind of, but even the explosions, like the impacts weren't impactful. They weren't. They just I didn't feel them. Like
They
when
were there.
when fists connected, it was kind of like a
Yeah.
like it just let down. Unlike a lot of the movies we talked about previously, where I've been like, yeah, no, like it felt good. They had weight behind it, like Warcraft.
I feel like
Warcraft.
I feel like these scenes, the way that they were actually shot, the action scenes weren't choreographed really good. It was just very generic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the whole movie kind of reminded me of Battle of Los Angeles,
Yeah,
and I didn't really like Battle of Los Angeles
it's kind of generic movie.
for pretty much the same reasons that I don't like Suicide Squad. Where
Wait,
it
is that
introduces a whole bunch of characters
was that
that you
with
don't really care about,
Aaron
and then they
Eckhart?
go and do some dumb shit.
Battle 4 or Battlefield?
Battle for Los Angeles.
Is that Aaron Eckhart?
I don't think so. I don't remember.
Are the aliens?
Yeah.
Aaron Eckhart.
Was he in that?
Yeah, he was the main dude.
That's unfortunate for him.
He was like he's the main guy.
I don't think you understand how much I disliked that film. It was so boring.
Really?
Yeah, there was there was nothing fun happening in that film.
No.
Fair enough.
It's just like it was a whole bunch of generic people doing generic stuff with a generic end game, and then credits.
But Brian, that guy's brother died, and he was mad at Aaron Eckhart's character, and then Aaron Eckhart sat him down and was like, "No, you don't understand what happened." And then the whole thing was cleared up.
Oh yeah,
Like that was completely original.
yeah. That's I
Yeah.
forgot about that riveting piece of storytelling.
Yeah. See, underrated masterpiece.
Yeah,
that's
okay.
what I'm calling it. No, so the Leto thing.
So
A
yes.
lot of scenes, from what I've heard, and even his interviews, where they filmed a decent amount of material and kind of just cut it.
So
That's
my
not-
problem isn't that he didn't have a lot of screen time. My problem is that he was very subdued in all of his screen time. Like he felt like
How
a
do we
tame
know?
Joker.
How do
Yeah.
we know his better parts weren't cut?
That doesn't change the fact that his personality was not coming
Oh,
across
yes.
as the way it should
Yes.
have. Like
See,
he
he
has the
felt-
potential to be a good Joker.
He does. Like
Yeah, I think he
I'm
does too.
kind of wanted to see more of it, but like both him and Harley were very
Here's-
boring to me, and that's weird. Like even I hate Heath Ledger Joker, but at least he was interesting. You know,
You're wrong for that.
he was
That's fine.
engaging.
That's fine. You're wrong for that.
No,
That's
he was
fine.
engaging.
No,
I
he was an
enjoy him.
interesting character. Whether or not he was a good Joker is entirely
Debate.
Up to debate.
That's all
up to debate,
Um,
but he was an interesting character.
Yes.
I worry
Yes.
that. I'm going to touch on this later. I worry that DC is going to get into this habit and think it's okay to say, here's the in theaters version, and here's the complete extended director's cut. Because, and I get it, right? Like, it's for the diehard fans that buy blah, blah, blah. But if you
can't
if you wanna-
sacrifice.
if you're trying to tell me a story, like, you can't tell me two different stories, right?
Yeah.
Like, you can't give me this and then say, well, this is what we wanted to give you.
The story the extra stuff you're adding on
Yeah.
should be add-on,
Yeah.
not
Not
character
integral
important.
to... Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, it shouldn't be
exactly.
integral to the...
Yeah, you shouldn't be taking key plot points out of the film.
Wait, we're not talking about Batman.
Oh,
Superman.
sorry. They're basically the same film.
Yes.
This is just this is just like a side story for Batman versus Superman. Even the whole damn thing starts off with Superman's funeral.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's how forgettable that was.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Because
Zack
that
Snyder.
scene needed to happen.
So
In fact, if they wanted this to be good, they should have distanced themselves from BVS as much as they possibly could. Not because BVS wasn't a good film, but because like what these characters represent is the exact opposite of everything that Batman vs Superman was supposed
and
to be.
that's why this movie should have been fun.
Gotcha.
And that's why it was boring instead when it was just like
I'm trying to think, like,
ugh.
so you wanted more...
So
and it's not that I've... Okay, for all you Tarantino fans, I've not seen Reservoir Dogs.
I was gonna say that,
But I
Reservoir Dogs
imagine...
would be
That's what I was
better.
about to say. No, I was going to say, like, from what I hear, it's a bunch of bad guys going around doing bad things, and you...
no,
Right?
I don't want bad guys. I want villains.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah.
Villains.
Fair enough.
And you give me Killer Croc, you give me Harley Quinn. Like the
they
two people
brought
that I
some
know
pretty
of.
big names from
In terms of
DC
Batman's,
as
like-
far as villains
yeah.
go,
And
and
you-
then you did nothing with them.
And you give me BG. Like what?
That
Where
was-
did that come from?
That was funny, though. I enjoyed that line. I like that line.
Damn it. So frustrating.
No, I get what you're saying. I'm trying to think if there's a movie that's kind of done.
There isn't, and that's the thing.
Villains.
That's the thing. Like they could have.
Yeah, this could like there haven't been a lot of like villain films.
And
Megamind.
Mm,
I could kind of. See
he's
where you're going
still
with that.
like kind of a redeemable character.
Oh, what's the one? Despicable Me.
Despicable
Yeah,
Me.
But he's also redeemable,
yeah,
right?
like
Okay, well, those are kids' movies. But
Yeah,
what I'm
those are
saying
kids,
is,
yeah.
like, you know,
Well,
it's like
see-
they were setting up
Spawn?
to do what I was hoping Sinister Six would do.
Spawn.
Yes.
Yeah,
And no.
but he did bad things.
For like all of 2 seconds, and
No.
then decided not to.
No, man. No,
So-
I get what you're saying. You wanted to see. It's the same reason I want to see, which I'll never get.
Like they
a
had
Teen Titans movie. Like I want to see.
but
Not.
Cyborg's gonna be in Justice League.
don't
I'm
care,
excited
it's
about
fine.
that.
I don't want to see Superman, Batman, Flash level of. I want to see just below that. I want to see more like, okay, we're gonna again.
The
if
less,
you
the
haven't seen-
lesser
yeah,
professional.
Yeah, if you haven't seen Young Justice, I recommend it. They do a good job of explaining why these characters are more interesting, in my opinion, because they're not as powerful, as
Yeah.
skilled. They don't
Yeah.
have the same resources. They're more of a covert unit.
and they're learning while they're
Yeah,
going.
it's a
so
learning thing.
You're developing character while
Speaking
you're
of
moving.
Young Justice, did you hear about who they're doing for the villain for Aquaman? Supposedly,
Who?
Black Manta.
Yeah,
I'm pretty excited about it.
Yeah, I like Black Manta.
As long as he's cast well, it'll be fun.
I don't
He
think
wears a thing the entire time.
he
Yeah,
does.
well, that doesn't mean that he can't be cast poorly.
Anyway,
I'm just saying.
Darth Vader wears a mask the entire time.
Yeah, the actor didn't matter. It was the voice actor that mattered.
And
Thank you, James
how would
Earl
it have
Jones.
been if James Earl Jones hadn't been? What if we had gotten like fucking Justin Bieber doing Darth Vader or
Well,
something?
That's
He wouldn't have been
extreme.
born?
That's extreme.
I know that was the point.
Anyways.
let's talk about the villain.
Let's talk
Which one?
about
Okay, sorry. Let's talk about the antagonist.
Okay.
I got kind of a
Enchantress.
mummy vibe from it.
So the Enchantress was like, I was with her up until the point where she got all pretty,
Gotcha.
And then at the very end as well, when she was like moving really weirdly.
Dude, I was gonna bring that up because she couldn't talk without like doing like this weird arm and hip movements. Like,
so I get that, and I get where they're going, but the voice did not match the actor and what she was doing.
Yeah,
that's the disconnect.
I get what you're saying.
Like, because she sounded more regal and more like she's in control and
Gotcha.
not like just sort of twitchy, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
If they came with like a witch voice, I could understand that.
Gotcha.
It kind of harkens back to the same earlier complaint of all the characters aren't really as twisted as they should be.
They're not.
This is why we needed a Dark Justice League movie. Del Toro.
This is why we need the Dark Avengers.
No, Dark
No,
Justice
this is
League.
why we need the fucking Thunderbolts. God damn it.
No, never. This is DC, sir.
Marvel
Like-
can do it. I'm convinced Marvel can do it better. So,
Marvel can do it better. Like,
yes.
even, like, don't get me wrong, Suicide Squad isn't bad by any means. But
No,
Thunderbolts is miles ahead
Oh,
of it.
okay. Talking about the So the other thing too is like, and I know, see, I was for the first time in a long time, I was bored in a movie.
Gotcha.
Like the scene where fucking Croc was throwing the bomb
Mhm.
toward the whirlpool of whatever,
The Death
and
Machine.
yeah, and
Deus Ex Machina.
Deadshot was gonna shoot it, and it was like this long slow motion scene. I was just like,
Yeah, they use slow mo
Fucking-
in some weird places. Not
fucking
outside of
end
that
it.
too. Yeah,
just
yeah.
get to the fucking point. I want out of this movie.
I did like the fight between them and Enchantress.
Throughout the entire movie,
Wait,
where it was
wait. What do you mean? There
Like-
was like,
Like
like
the,
she,
when she was like teleporting, like she was showing off her powers.
yeah,
And like I liked that
yes.
part. That was kind of cool.
I
Until
like how quickly the government decided they were okay with everything when she was like, do your thing where you teleport. Oh, okay, we want you to do the Suicide Squad now.
yeah, like did nobody go? You know, this
Like,
might
this might not be a good idea.
Would you have been? Because there were rumors about the plot before the movie came out that it was actually going to be, the task force was actually going to be denied, and Waller was going to send them out.
I think
against-
that would have been
With that-
way
okay,
better.
That would have
That
been a
would-
more interesting plot point.
I was not really expecting like an antagonist
Mhm.
in this movie. I was expecting them to just like fuck shit up for some reason
Mhm.
Yeah.
that made sense for the government
Yeah.
or something.
The other reason I hate they didn't leave an option for obviously a sequel. I don't think.
They didn't,
They
and
didn't.
I'm okay with it at this point.
Oh man.
Yeah, I mean,
don't
with
wanna
how
know.
bad it was, they really don't.
I mean, Harley's getting her own spin-off with I think like Poison Ivy, Catwoman. Like she's gonna
Don't-
have like an all-female
I
cast.
don't
That
care.
really doesn't need
I
to happen.
I'm down with
don't
that.
It
care.
really doesn't need to
I mean,
happen.
dude, if they try to do Birds of Prey, I'd be down.
What they need to do is just have a like 30-minute section of the next Batman movie devoted to Harley and Joker.
Right, doing it
Yeah,
right.
and do that. And honestly, if Affleck is attached to it and writing, I think they can because Affleck is a really good writer. So I'm excited to see what they do with Batman going forward. Not so much what they do with Suicide
Going
Squad.
backwards
Whatever.
because they're exploring his past.
Speaking of which, let's talk about another bad thing. So you know that scene where Deadshot is with his little girl, and then Batman shows up.
Yeah.
And then she's like, "No, don't shoot him," whatever.
Oh yeah.
So let me ask you your interpretation of when that happened.
Uh-huh.
Do you think that was before BVS or after BVS?
That was okay. So the kid looks a similar age, so it wouldn't have been too far off.
Don't put a lot of thought into it.
no.
I'm just saying.
No, you asked me this question.
Because
I
that's
need-
it's
I need
not
a-
it's not
need
the
a good
reason,
answer.
My interpretation was that it was supposed to be before BVS happened.
and that's my interpretation too.
Yeah, you know what? I'll say yeah because I think Batman rounded up most
Because
of those
otherwise,
villains.
Deadshot's only been in prison for like 5 minutes.
Not very long. Yeah.
Yeah.
So here's my problem with that scene. If it's before BVS,
Mhm.
it's established in BVS, since it's all connected,
Mhm.
that Batman has not been seen before, and when he is seen, he's always in the dark, and he's like this creepy thing, right?
Oh, he's just like standing in the middle of an alleyway.
Well, it's more of like that the girl isn't freaked out and isn't like terrified of Batman.
Oh, okay.
Like he was like fucking branding people
Yeah.
in like the other movies.
Well, the cops were like
True.
freaking out. And,
Exactly.
Like,
Everybody
shooting
was
at him, yeah.
freaking out at him, and yet she's like, "No, don't don't shoot him, Daddy. And it's just like, this makes
I still
no
make
sense.
the argument that it's playing to the fact that her character doesn't want her father to murder people.
I get that, but if he's supposed to be terrifying,
Even if he's supposed to be terrifying, they're trying to show that she has
Hey,
childlike innocence
at least-
and she doesn't want people to die.
At least she wasn't plot device from X-Men Apocalypse.
you know what's
Because they could have just killed her with something and been like, there's Deadshot.
you know what bothers me? I actually like Apocalypse more than this movie.
That's
I
tough for
think
debate.
Go.
I think that if they had killed his daughter, it would have made Deadshot a better villain in the movie.
I don't think so.
Because he would have had a reason to hate Batman at that point.
Yeah, it didn't really make sense that his dream thing is just to kill Batman.
Yeah, what the fuck's up with that?
Like, there's one time they meet.
One time Batman shows up and his daughter says, "Don't shoot this guy," and suddenly you hate him.
Yeah,
It's not even his fault. If anything, you should hate his daughter.
bit of a disconnect there.
I mean, that was really, I mean, the brother of Enchantress was just kind of a big guy.
That's the kind of in between. Like, he's
Yeah.
he's
So
a
on to
guy.
the in between.
Well, wait,
There you go.
Wait, there has to be.
Do you have any more bad?
there is more bad.
Is there? There's always more bad.
There is always.
Is
more
there
bad.
really that much more bad? Because
For
at this
me,
point, I'm just
yes.
at the in between.
Oh, fine. Go ahead.
No, if you have more bad, we have to stick with the bad until the bad is hashed out.
You know, actually,
Okay.
you know, I just realized. So, Suicide Squad, like the whole point of them, especially in the comics, is they can drop. They can drop. Maybe drop time. I don't know. They can basically just say, "Oh, y'all are trying to prevent this tragedy or whatever."
Mhm.
If it benefits us in any way, we're gonna leave you behind and blame you for it or whatever. So in the comics, which I highly recommend, they're not the best, but I enjoy them. They've straight up murdered other Suicide Squad teammates to like take the fall for stuff, and they've even sacrificed themselves, not necessarily for like a greater purpose, but just to be like, okay, I became friends with this one person in the squad, or it
And that-
benefits me because my someone so and so, right? So
Villains.
yeah, fair, right? Yeah. So, but the only people that like died were the regular soldiers. They
Oh,
like
yeah.
went out of their way to sacrifice themselves
Yeah.
to save Rick, right? The guy that blew
Yeah.
up the guy that blew up the bomb underneath
Yeah.
Diablo, like he was like, "Yep, I'm gonna sacrifice
I'm
myself
gonna
for
do
these
this."
group of villains that killed plenty of people." Like,
Diablo died. There was one other person that died out of the group. Oh, Slipknot. I was
Okay,
really sad
okay.
that Slipknot
Diablo's coming back.
is he?
I think so. He's fire, and explosion is
Yeah,
fire.
you can't really kill fire with more fire. Well, actually, you can.
I think he's coming back. Slipknot, definitely not.
I was really sad that like here's a character
That Kickin' Wing died.
and then it's just like, oh, he's dead.
Anyone get that reference?
No,
Snakes and Sparklers.
no.
Joe Dirt.
That would be why I don't get that. Because that movie is awful.
But he was the guy in that movie.
That helps.
I'm just saying.
Reference a film that I hate. That'll help so much.
So yeah, he just
I
he
get what you're
was
saying.
there and then he's gone, dead.
And I mean, the other bad
It's
stuff.
because they were trying to show that they weren't afraid to kill anyone if they
Yeah.
stepped out of
So-
line.
someone pointed out that it was really apparent that he was going to die because everybody else got a backstory.
Yeah.
Even if it was like for like 9 seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
And they were just like, Slipknot.
Yeah, you
Damn.
know, the major bad point of this entire film is that the script is fucking awful.
It would have been more interesting if they gave.
So
him
what you're
backstory.
saying is the true villains are WB?
The true villain
Yeah.
has always been WB.
Yeah.
They're the actual... Yeah.
So
Um,
let's talk about Diablo real quick. I was interested in Diablo at the beginning when he's like, I'm a pacifist.
Yeah.
Because of what he did. Like, okay, I get that.
Mhm.
And we obviously know the reason why.
Yeah.
Right? And then when they actually have to explain it to the audience, I was just like, oh my
Again.
god, we
Yeah,
get it.
It was
Again.
a whole bunch of exposition that they could have done without.
And it didn't flow. It didn't flow in what they were doing.
Yeah, I understand. Like, instead of giving us Diablo's story
You know
four
what they could have
times,
done
right?
is-
4 times. I want to say
Like-
4 times. They could have taken those. Here's some more Croc backstory. Here's some
Exactly.
more. I get what you're
You
saying.
know how they had that whole scene in the bar where he was giving them his entire backstory? They could have summed it up in like 2 lines, and they could have just had the little dancing chick in his hand and flicker out. That would have had the same effect.
They kept bringing it up. Like they were like, "Oh,
Aren't
he."
you a badass?
Yeah,
You know.
I get what you're saying. It's kind of like the It's kind of like the Star Wars.
It's just
Anakin, Padme. Like you're gonna keep telling us you're in love until you hope that we believe it.
It's one of
I
those
hate saying
situations where less is more.
Yeah, exactly.
Gotcha.
Like we already know, and it's really tragic. But I'm just gonna beat it over your head over and over and over until you're
Yeah,
sick
like
of it.
before they even go onto the mission, it's pretty apparent that he ended up killing his family. Like you don't need anything more than that.
We don't really need to see it.
Yeah. I mean, and other bad stuff. I mean, the underutilization of like Katana, who I really enjoy in the
Yes.
comics. Again, like you said, her sword steals souls away. So like that could have played into well, maybe it can steal Enchantress and save. But no. Why would they ever do something like that?
Also, terrible travesty. There wasn't a single character named Martha. What the fuck?
Also, like it bothered. I know it's a trope, and it just is what it is. But I was really bothered by the fact that Dr. Moon lived after the Enchantrix died.
Yeah, instead of just staying dead.
I was like, I see this.
Well, they
coming.
wanted Rick Flag to be happy,
I don't fucking. He wasn't that interesting to begin with, so nobody fucking cares.
but he fell in love.
And he's there.
Yay, the bland, boring dude fell in love. Let's make sure he gets his happy ending.
Yeah.
Woo! Yay!
Did you stay for the mid-credit scene?
The boring scene where I was like, okay, we
The
already
scene
had
of Batman
we
being
already
like,
had an established
Hey,
shot.
you remember those files that I already got from Wonder Woman? I need those from you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it was just a repeat. It was just like, okay,
But he
this is
shut down the
pointless.
Suicide Squad.
He didn't shut down the Suicide
He
Squad.
told her that his friends wouldn't be very happy.
All he said was, "Don't do this." That like, if you're a villain, that doesn't mean anything
Yeah,
to you.
seriously.
And
And
I mean, she knows he's Batman, right?
I think she knows she's
I'd
Batman.
have been like, I don't care what you think. I know you're Batman. You can't tell me what to do. Matter of fact,
She and her personality doesn't fit in that scene.
yeah, she's very kind of submissive. in that
Or
one.
there's
It's
something
so-
missing. There's
they
something
were-
missing.
I feel like they were trying to emulate the scene between Tony Stark and Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Whenever he's like, "Hey, I got this thing called the Avengers Initiative."
What's that?
We already established this in the previous movie. Why do we need it again?
But it was
Yep.
actually Tony and Ross first after
It was
Incredible
Tony and Ross
Hulk.
first.
Yeah, but I wasn't talking about the Hulk scene.
Well, that's what I'm talking about.
Whatever.
Yeah.
So in between, because that's pretty much all the bad that I can remember at the moment.
Yeah.
So
Soundtrack. Unlike you, I thought the soundtrack was okay.
Yeah,
I
it
didn't.
was-
So my problem wasn't with the soundtrack itself. It was with the overuse of the soundtrack and that it didn't really mesh with what was going on.
It didn't.
Unlike when they did, like they were trying to do what Guardians of the Galaxy did, but Guardians of the Galaxy worked the scenes around the music, as opposed to just throwing the music into the scene.
And it was they bookend, like it was like the pop music before and in the beginning and at the end. There's
Mhm.
no like in the middle to make it fun like Guardians of the Galaxy did. It was just like bookends. And
Gotcha.
it was just sort of there.
No, I understand. Again, most of the characters, Katana was kind of just there.
Harley and Joker were boring to me. They were just there, and I was like, this is really depressing.
It's very in between, but like that just they're kind of there. And Joker really falls more in between than anything else for me because he wasn't. He could have been good. He
But
could
he-
have been a lot worse than he was.
But he killed people.
So
He drove the car to the river
he
even though
wasn't
Harley
like
couldn't
he
swim.
didn't. He felt like he was being held back the entire movie. Like he could have gone actual crazy, and
And
it
it-
would have been more interesting.
And it didn't feel like a tease. You know, it didn't feel like, oh, here's a little bit of the Joker for you to maybe be excited about in the next
yeah,
movie.
and like, don't get me wrong, I have nothing against seeing more Joker scenes, but my problem never came. The problem I had with him never came across as like, maybe if they showed me more of this character, I'd like him more. It was just like, no, this character is not being portrayed quite right.
No, yeah.
Not badly, but not as good as it could be.
The potential
and,
is
yeah,
there,
and I mean,
but-
Leto can do it. It seems like he has the capability to do it. I think that it was more stilted by the script than anything else.
Yeah.
No, I agree with that. Again, Rick Flag, just there.
Rick Flag,
The script was.
Enchantress
I mean,
brother.
Croc was very in between, which Croc could have been a
was
really
he
good
could have been
villain.
Fun, man.
He's not like
They just wrote him off as like generic thug.
Yeah,
generic animal
he
thug
could have been.
Yeah.
He could have been fun.
that likes
He could've
BET for some weird reason.
Yeah.
Look, man, Don't knock it.
No, I'm not. It's just it's out of nowhere. That's the thing. It doesn't fit his character.
He's
You
beautiful.
know why it's
He
out
thinks
of
he's
nowhere?
beautiful.
It's because we didn't really get any backstory for him.
If I had backstory, I'd be like, okay, sure, but
Yeah,
no.
maybe if he was like a rapper in his past life, it would have made more sense.
A lot of
Rappers
the
can like BET.
I don't know.
a lot of the jokes were just sort of there. Like they were like, oh, that's funny.
There were a lot of kids in that movie.
There were way too. So this is more of a problem with the theater that we went to.
Well,
than
is it a problem with the theater, or is it a problem with?
Well, I mean, if you go to Draft House, it's not a problem.
Well,
Because
okay,
they
so
don't
there
let
were a lot of
kids into it.
kids.
There were a lot.
There were a
of
lot
children in the
of
screening
young
that we
children.
saw.
And okay, if you're a parent, fine, do what you want. Like, but also respect the fact that other people are watching this movie, and I don't want your kid yelling or crying while I'm watching this. Like, you know, like I don't want that.
More
Yeah.
importantly, you're taking your kid to go see a movie called Suicide Squad.
They're bad guys.
I mean, debatable.
Yeah, they really were.
But the point
First
is-
impression is they are villains.
First impression is this isn't a movie that I would take my 3-year-old to.
Yeah.
But 4 years old.
4 maybe. At that point, maybe they understand the concept of a bad guy.
No, yeah, that had nothing to do with the movie, but yeah, it was a lot of kids.
I didn't
There
have
are
a
whole
problem.
kids.
Because you're at the Draft House, yeah.
Wonder Woman trailer was also an in-between for me.
Really?
Yep.
So, okay, we'll get to that in a minute because
Yeah.
that's outside of the movie. Guys, that Shyamalan twist at the end, though,
What twist?
they were actually saving Waller
Yeah.
What?
What a surprise.
because they didn't know they were saving.
They
Amanda
didn't know
Waller.
what the high-value
Oh.
target was, and then they got in there and was like, "It was you the whole time."
Yeah,
Yeah, I was like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's just there.
dude, when she capped the rest of her team, though,
I like
that
that.
was yeah.
I
So
told you, she's
Waller
a
was
villain.
the most demented person. That's
She's
yeah.
the villain.
Dude, yeah, I just remember that Rick Flag got there and she was
Yes.
just like, I need all the files deleted, and they were like, it's done. Cut. They're down.
She
Done.
is the most villainous person there.
Yep.
Everybody else is just.
Which
We
isn't
just
hard
need
to
a-
do
we
when
need a-
everyone else isn't very bad.
We need a movie, Day in the Life of Amanda Waller. Infinitely more. Like, how does she go get groceries? Like, you know, like, that'd be interesting.
Look, we can get that after we get the Vision sitcom.
I guess like final thoughts on it. So,
Okay.
and I told Brian this after the movie. So I feel that overall, like from beginning to end, based off its highs and lows, I think it's a better movie than Batman Superman. But the highs for Batman v Superman were way better than anything that Suicide Squad gave in its best moments.
So
Get what I'm saying?
Which do you like more then? Or which do you enjoy more, I would say? Not like more, but
I mean, Suicide Squad only slightly.
really?
Only slightly.
I'd say Batman versus Superman just for the Batman scene where he kicks everyone's ass.
Okay, again, right? That's why I said there are scenes in Batman and Superman that,
Yeah.
that outshine
Yeah,
anything that Suicide
But like
Squad
you
does.
just said, it
Yeah.
outshines anything that was in Suicide Squad.
So if you had to sit through,
If I had to sit through either of them again, I'd sit through BVS again in a heartbeat.
I'm gonna agree with
Really?
that. Like
Okay.
I enjoy BVS way
It
more.
had a whole lot of problems, but it had
It was
better problems.
yes.
Gotcha.
It was way more engaging
Because
than this
its
movie.
problems weren't so much from the script, it was from we're trying to throw way too much
Yes.
So
in
the script-
2 hours.
yes.
of
so
film.
the script,
not
No, no,
the
no,
same
no.
problem is that like it's not a bland script. It's that they tried
there's
to
too
do
much
too
going on.
much.
Fair enough.
They understood the characters
Whereas
better
in Suicide Squad, they were doing
Wow,
too
watch
little.
that statement.
No, no,
with
no.
Some of the Batman and Superman fans.
compared to Suicide
Okay.
Squad.
That statement
Was-
is more correct
But
because
BVS is more true than Suicide
I
Squad.
mean,
would
there's
feel.
really not a lot that you have to do to make Superman. All you have to do is make him stand around and be Superman.
Be a good guy. He's
well,
pretty
what,
Which is
what,
basically
what I'm
what he
saying
does
is
in the
well,
script.
what I'm saying is people are very hot or cold on
Yeah,
that Superman portrayal and that Batman portrayal.
Yes, yes.
but that I
They-
don't understand why everyone hates Batfleck
Because
so
they
much.
don't want him to kill people. He's like a mass murderer. Now,
He
I love
really-
it.
He needs. To
I
kill
thought it was
people.
fantastic.
It fits a character who actually like brands people and is supposed to be scary.
You know-
that makes more sense.
Batman comes across as a more twisted character than anybody in Suicide
Yes,
Squad.
yes.
Yeah, no, definitely.
So overall, you feel
Only like by a quarter of a point.
like just tiny,
Like
tiny
yes,
amount.
yes.
So what would you rate Suicide Squad, Susie Squad?
A 5.
Really?
Like 4.5 to a 5. No. Okay, I'd probably give it a 5, and I'd give BVS right there with it a 5. Like, it's
they're so
inconsequential the amount of like that I have for Suicide Squad over BVS is it doesn't even register. Like,
okay.
So you know.
So you okay? I see what you're saying.
Like if I had to just off the dome it, I would say if you expect this, man, it sounds just like Apocalypse. If you expect this movie to change your opinion on DC for the better, you're gonna be disappointed.
Horribly.
But if like me, and probably not so much you. If like me, you've been wanting this movie to come out, if you've been wanting a Suicide Squad, I think you'll get some enjoyment. I think you'll enjoy the ride, and you'll be like, all right, I wash my hands of this. Mm-hmm. Like I probably won't buy this movie.
I think honestly, if I had been waiting for it the same way people had been waiting for BVS, I'd be more disappointed.
That's probably my problem.
Fair enough.
So what would you give?
I would give it a second nail in the coffin for DC. And as soon as Wonder Woman comes out to finish it off, it's all done.
Oh, I hate to agree with you, buddy. So out of 10.
Out of a 10, I'd give it a 4 because it didn't do anything that it should have. It had some interesting ideas that could have been good, and the actors were good, but the script was just total garbage.
Yeah. I feel like you're going to give it like a 3.
I'm going to give it a 2.
Really? Because when I think 2, I think like Catwoman.
Yeah.
Wow.
I wouldn't put it as far as that.
Put it down there with
I wouldn't
Catwoman?
put it with Catwoman.
I won't want. I
Or
really
like-
don't want to watch Catwoman again. I don't want to watch this movie again. I don't think you understand how long it's
Hulk?
been. I actually like Hulk.
Not Ed Norton, the one before that.
Yes,
Yeah, he actually likes that one.
it's not that bad as people say it is.
My face is... You guys can't see it. My face
Squishy.
is confused.
Squunchy face. So
Confused emoji.
I don't think you understand how long it's been since I've been bored in a movie theater.
Gotcha.
Like, in a long time was I actually just like paying attention to other shit in the theater because I was just and like I said,
is what he's saying.
like I knew the reviews going in, so I was trying to have low expectations.
So,
And my main problem is that they're not villains.
so you think that the critic reviews accurately portray the movie for you?
What are like
30, like low 30s, high 20s.
out of 100?
Yeah.
I would say yeah.
See, I'm a little bit like, again, I think it deserves low ratings, but not
That low.
that low. Personally, no.
I think that if they had focused on the parts that were good, that it could have been better.
There's not that many.
I know, but the ones that were there, they had promise.
They
So-
needed to fix, in my opinion, they needed to have a dark humor and actually make them villains and not redeemable bad guys.
Yeah.
And I think because DC's known for their bad guys, right?
Because the whole point of the
I would
Suicide
say-
Squad was that they're supposed to be like irredeemable characters.
I
Yes.
would say DC has more. Yeah, I would say DC has more memorable bad guys than
Yeah.
Marvel.
Yes,
well,
they're
the-
known for their
the
bad
thing
guys.
is that like DC knows how to do their villains. They do villains that are bad, whereas
Yes.
Marvel is very good at doing characters that are gray area. Like Doctor Doom is one of the best villains in Marvel, but he's not really a bad guy. Like he's bad,
Yeah.
but he also has reasons behind why he's bad.
he
and
believes he's good.
yeah, he doesn't think that he's doing bad things. And I mean, he's also going to be the next Iron Man.
4.5. James Ward 4.5. Sorry.
You have to change it.
No.
And like I said, don't let
So-
my opinion
No,
ruin.
definitely.
We've said everything we wanted to say. I can finally sleep. God damn.
Got it off your chest,
Yes.
like an elephant,
God.
just sitting on your chest.
Anyway, so this has been fun.
At least you didn't have to wait like a week before you did it.
I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
You're fine, dude. All right, well, join us next time for whatever it is we decide to do. We keep saying we're not going to do another movie one, and then we keep doing it, which...
Well, it's summer. Like, movies continue to come out.
Yeah.
over the
Yeah,
summer.
there hasn't
Yeah,
really been
summer.
a lull. And
I think that
next
now
year's
that-
going to be even crazier.
Yeah, but I mean, now we've got all kinds of dead time until Doctor Strange, and that's the next big superhero movie.
Cannot wait.
We'll discuss this later. But I think we'll close this out right now.
Bye, everyone.
Later.
Bye.